Hey guys, so today's video is one that has been pretty highly requested among my friends and my family and some of my readers of my blog, and that is about my weight loss journey. I wouldn't really call it a weight loss journey. I would call it like a yo-yo journey. It's been highs and lows and lots of learning, and it has just been a really interesting ride for me. And so I wanted to share why I started this and really where the whole thing came from. So I hope that you guys enjoy this, and I hope that I answer a lot of questions that I get all the time. So I really started noticing my weight around 2012. I think for my whole life I had always been kind of like a bigger kid, and it was always assumed that I would grow out of it, but it wasn't something that I ever grew out of. And so I've always been heavy, or some people like to say curvy, for my entire life. So I've never been like a really small size. I've been a small size for myself, but never like, you know, a size 2 or 4 or even 6 or even 8. Like, I have never been in that realm. And so for my whole life it was something that I was pretty aware of, but not something that I was unhappy with until about 2012, which was just right about after I got out of college. And this was around the time that I was really unhappy. I was dating, but nothing was really sticking. I still hadn't found a really good job that I was happy with. I had just graduated college, so of course, as all college students, I was afraid about my future. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. And my weight and this whole notion of how I looked and how I felt was something that I really thought about every single day, because it was just one of those extra things that piled on to the huge stack of things that I had already hated about myself. And so in 2012, I got picked by Self Magazine to do this kind of like weight loss boot camp, and the key really was that you did it all on your own. You didn't have a trainer, you didn't have anything. You just had a guide for what exercises you should choose for that. I think it was like a 12 to 15 week period. And then I also had this eating plan, and so it really showed me like what I should be eating. It gave me a guide for recipes. I could pick whatever I wanted out of the recipes that were provided, but the key really was that you would do it on your own and you would drop about 10 to 15 pounds. And so at that time, it was a really, truly a big deal for me, because I was at my heaviest weight. I was weighing around 245 pounds, which I'm 5'2". So 245 pounds on a 5'2" person's frame is a lot of weight. And I will kind of like insert pictures here, but I have all of these memories of myself that feel just so incredibly strange, because it almost felt like an out-of-body experience for me. It felt like I was in this phase of my life where I didn't recognize myself, and I was finally getting to this place where I was like, okay, I can do something about it and I have help. And so I got on this self diet. I did it for 12 or 15 weeks or however long it was. I got down to 220 pounds. So I lost 25 pounds doing this exercise routine and eating routine, and I had never felt better about myself. And so I literally went from this like really sad person to really energized and really motivated about my weight loss. So I started finding accountability partners and my friends. I started going to the gym with tons of different people, and I really started focusing on myself. And around that time was when I started my first cooking blog, Tales from the Kitch. And that was a way for me to talk about food and eating and what I was doing, and really more of a way to track for me, because I wanted a way to see my progress. I started that blog because I truly couldn't see my progress every day in the mirror. I could see it when I saw an old picture of myself versus a new picture of myself. But what was difficult was looking in the mirror and still seeing that 245-pound person who I didn't recognize, even though I was in a smaller body. And it was a really frustrating and trying time because I thought I'm putting in all of this effort, but I'm not seeing any change, which in reality I had made these huge strides and these huge changes to my body, but I just couldn't see them myself. And so I started this blog. I posted recipes that I like to create. I really learned how to create my own recipes and how to cook for myself at that time because I really didn't know how to cook. Before the self thing, I ate like cereal and grilled chicken every day. Like I didn't have any idea of how to cook. And so I started learning, I started researching nutrition, I started kind of understanding how my body should process food and what kinds of things I should eat if I want to continually lose weight. And so throughout that entire year, I lost an additional 20 pounds. So I ended up losing around 40 to 45 pounds, which was really just this, it was really just this monumental thing for me because it was something that I never ever thought that I could do. So I kept going. I kept trying. I kept working out. I kept trying to eat right. I kept trying to cook for myself. And then a few months into it and a few months of doing it, I lost my first job out of college and I was devastated. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to handle it or how to get it together, and it really affected me. It was hard for me because I thought that I was working so hard at that place and almost in a sense neglecting myself at times. And I knew that I wasn't quite happy there, but I also knew that it was a learning experience for me and it was something that I should be grateful for and it was something that I should work hard at. So losing that to me was like, oh my gosh, like I did everything that I felt like I could do, but for some reason it wasn't good enough. And so our whole team was let go, the company downsized and, you know, went really small. And to me, that was just like, gosh, like another failure. Like after I had done all of these really amazing things, it was something that made me feel like, okay, I'm not doing good again. And then, of course, you know, when it rains, it pours. I ended up with this really bad side pain one day while I was actually taking photos and staging a blog, and I fainted in my kitchen. And I woke up after I don't know even how long I was out for, and I still had this just horrible pain in my side. And I waited for I want to say like a few weeks to see a specialist because one, I didn't have any insurance because I had just lost my job, and two, apparently it takes a few weeks to see a urologist, which is kind of insane, especially when you're having debilitating pain. And I found out after that I had this huge kidney stone, and that was just like another blow to me because it was like, great, like I'm losing my job, I'm losing my health, like what else do I have? And so from there it kind of spiraled for me. It got really out of control and I really just stopped taking care of myself because I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know how to get back on track. I had to be out for a few weeks of working out because I had surgery and all of this stuff had happened, and it was just like a really trying time. So I tried to keep up with it as much as I could, but I could really feel myself slipping backwards. And so then finally in the next year, I landed a job that I thought was my dream job, hated the culture, did not like it, and ended up with a really great opportunity for another position where I could do something that I really had dreamed of and run social accounts for this really great organization. And so I was so thrilled and so happy, but I never realized how much time it would actually take. And I had never realized how much energy and how much effort it would take to be in this position. And so I worked really hard at work. I excelled at work. I did every single thing that you should do when you're, you know, wanting to advance and get ahead in your career, and that you want to do to feel good about the work that you're doing. But I did that at the cost of myself. And I went for a couple of years really just like going full force and staying out work late and and not taking care of myself, not working out, not eating right, constantly eating lunch out instead of packing my own lunch, not choosing the right things to eat, getting caught up when coworkers would bring like cake or cookies or bread or whatever. And over the course of 2 years, that really affected me. And kind of fast forwarding to 2016, I had this period of time where I felt awful. It didn't matter how much sleep I got, I felt fatigued. It didn't matter how much water I drank, I felt parched. It didn't matter how much exercise I did, I couldn't lose weight. It didn't matter how full I was never really feeling full. I was dizzy, I was having trouble sleeping, I was having all of these issues, and I put them to the side for a couple of months, but there was a day that I just felt so terrible, and I finally said, I think I need to just go get checked out. I think I just need to see what's wrong. And for me, that was a really good instinct, because I went to the doctor, I got blood work done, I told him all of my symptoms, I told him what I was feeling, I told him that I was doing minimal exercise, but I was trying, I told him about everything, and my test results came back and I found out that I was diabetic. And that was just like a ton of bricks hitting me all at once, because it made me realize that no, I wasn't taking care of myself. And yes, I had realized it way before that point, way before the doctor even said the words, "You are diabetic." I knew, because of all of the symptoms that I was having, that I wasn't doing something right, and I shouldn't have ignored it. I should have taken all of that very seriously, and I should have gone to the doctor sooner, and I should have talked to someone sooner, because it probably wouldn't have gotten to that point. I probably wouldn't have had this rock bottom moment. And to me, that really just kind of sums up the whole of my journey with weight loss, in that I always take these external things, these external factors, and I put them ahead of myself every single time. I put them ahead of myself and my health, and none of that is right, and none of that is good. And that is kind of what 2017 is all about for me, is that balance, is being able to say, like, this is a priority in my life, this ability to advance in my career and to do these really fun extracurricular things and to be a more whole person. But on the other side of that, my health is so much more important. And somebody had said something to me that was along the lines of, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I thought that that was so insightful, because it's so true. It's like, if you aren't whole as a person, and you don't have enough energy, and you don't have enough emotion, and you don't have enough to give, you're never going to be good enough for someone else, and you're never going to be able to be as helpful as you want to be to someone else. And so having that insight and knowing that I can't pour from an empty cup anymore, and I shouldn't do it, is something that's so huge for me this year, because I have to find that balance, and I have to be able to strike the balance between doing what I love, but also at the same time taking care of myself. And so this, I keep calling this like a journey, but this whole thing, it's a huge journey, and it's something that's not going to be complete just when I lose weight or when I control my diabetes. Like, this is something that is going to stick with me for the whole of my life, because it doesn't just end once the weight is gone. It doesn't just end once all of my chronic illness is solved. It doesn't ever end. It's continual. It's always going to be a part of my life. It's always going to be a part of my lifestyle, and that's never going away. And what I have to do now at this point is really figure out that this is the balance I want to strike, and this is how I do it, and this is how I keep it going until the day that I can't keep going anymore. So I am in this for the long haul. It's the hardest thing that I've ever done. You can see from the video that I did last year about my weight loss and what I hope to accomplish, and how I got my Apple Watch and how that was going to help. All of that stuff is still stuff that I want to do. It's still stuff that I want to pay attention to, but I think that I'll continue to be more intentional about it, and I'll continue to understand that I should be important to myself, important enough to at least take care of myself. So I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys and really answered some questions about this whole path that I've been on and where I started and how far I've come. You'll only continue to hear stories about it because it's happening to me every single day. I am changing and transforming and balancing and figuring it out as I go, and I'm sure I'm going to make more videos about it and talk about it more. If you want to see more content like this and you like what I had to say in this video, please, please, please give it a thumbs up. That just tells me that it's a video that's worthy of your time and that I should keep doing them. And if you also want to see more videos that I've done, hit the subscribe button that's below. And if you are really, really invested and you really want to know about videos as I post them, you can always hit the little alarm bell down below, and that will subscribe you to my videos. So anytime that I upload one, they'll pop up for you and you'll be the first one to watch it. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that I didn't spill too much and that it was actually helpful. I think it was a really great experience for me to talk about it because it reminds me of where I came from and it reminds me of how far I'm gonna go. So I really enjoyed talking about it, but I think that I'm gonna end it here, and I will totally see you guys in the next video. Take care and be awesome in 2017. Bye.